Yes, good afternoon, good afternoon. This is Spirit Journey. Hope you guys can hear me. Yes, today is March 24, 2020, and the time is 5:39 p.m. Yes, yes, as we know, yes, I live in New York City, right in the heart of the city, and I walk my dogs today. And I was thinking, I said, what I want to do something constructive this season. All this panic mode regarding this coronavirus, and so I used to make soap. I started making soap in 2014, and I kind of slacked. But I have all this equipment and all these oils, and I said to myself, hey, the weather is really nice. It's staying light longer outside. It's a perfect time to make some soap. So, yes, hello, viewer, hello. Yes, you can give a hello in the chat room. Yes, you're going to get a treat. This is going to be like a part one because this whole process of making soap takes a while. But I want to show you what I did. I'm going to make soap, liquid soap at that. And I'm going to show you how it's done, okay? At least the first part, because it does take a long time to do. So I have all these oils and fats, and I don't want it to get bad. I got them in 2014, so it is a while, and I hope it's fresh enough that it works. But we're gonna try them. Use the ingredients I have. I want to use them all up, and once it's all used up, then I'd probably get some fresh fats and stuff like that. So I want to show you what I've done so far. Okay, so what I did, I created the recipe, and how to create a recipe. They have these calculators online, and these calculators for soap makers and how to create a soap. And in my case, it's going to be a liquid soap. Okay, so I know what oil I wanted to use. I should say butter I wanted to use, and that is shea butter. Shea butter is a very rich butter, to use in soap making. It's used for, the luxury soaps. You use a hard fat like coconut oil, and you mix it with the shea butter. But in this case, I'm just going to primarily just use shea butter, and I'm not going to make a bar of soap, but liquid soap, because just using shea butter, the bar of soap will be too soft. So I say, hey, let me just use the liquid, make it into a liquid soap instead, and see what happens. So this is the first time I ever going to use this recipe, but how I calculated was such. And I knew I wanted to just use primarily shea butter, and then I wanted to add a little bit of castor oil. Castor oil um, stabilizes its ability to make bubbles. So let me just show you this calculator. I'm going to turn the view. Okay, just a moment. Okay, so I just want to show you briefly what I did. I already calculated it. Okay, now I just found this website. Okay, HSCG, I guess it stands for Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guide. Okay, and this is a line calculations, and I named it Shea Butter Liquid Soap. That's what I put in. Okay. Okay. So in the calculator, I indicated for the castor 2 ounces, and for the shea butter in ounces 37 ounces, a total of 39 ounces. Okay. And then You also indicate in the calculator um, if you want liquid or bar soap. To make a liquid soap, you use uh, potassium hydroxide rather than sodium hydroxide. Okay, so let me just turn now. And superfat just means like, uh, in the case with this recipe, I decided to be zero superfat because the type of oil. My reason was this, that it's a very rich fat, and so I thought that if I well, super fat, okay, I have to explain a little better. Super fat, like with soap and the lye that you put in this case, potassium hydroxide. Uh, think of the fat that you use or the oil you use has to be married to the lye, in this case, potassium. And so when you have equal amounts of the those two ingredients together, anything over, when if all the potassium is linked up with the fat molecule, anything over is it's extra, and that would be called a superfat. So if it's, let's say, 2% more, 3% more of, oh, that's my little doggy. Let me just get her. Lilac. So I put her up there because I don't want her to get down. Yeah, I have to keep. Okay. Yeah, see my other dogs. Yeah, soap making is very caustic. And so when you're making, you have to put all your little pooches away because they might, when you're dealing with lye, it's very corrosive, and you don't want them to be hurt. Okay, so they have to be away from the room. Okay, she had to go potty. Okay, so back to super fatting. So think of it like a marriage. Everybody's paired up, and anything over the pairing of the lye and the fat will be super fat. Okay, and so I didn't want to super fat this batch. Again, this is the first time I'm making this recipe, but we learn as we go. So only until the actual process is done, okay, do we know how it's going to really work. Okay, so see, that's the potassium hydroxide. Okay, and so in this one it indicates the KOH means potassium hydroxide. That's scientific notation, and it's saying like for at 0%. I just want a standard. I never saw it like this before, but I guess if you want to maybe reduce something, the percentage, I'm not really sure what that is, but I just kept it 0. I'm not going to try to explain because I don't want to give wrong information, but I just wanted standard. I'm not going to discount anything on that. So it's going to be straight amount of potassium hydroxide to the water. Okay, so say I need this amount of potassium hydroxide, 7.319 ounces, and the water is going to be 14.6 ounces. Okay. Okay, that's me again. And also, okay, you stay in there. Okay. Boy, my nose is running. This side. Just a moment. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Okay. So what I want to, I hope you guys could see me. I'm going to turn on this light so there's no shadow. Yeah, okay, that looks better. Okay, so I have the glasses on. Sorry about that. Some of these pop-ups occur. So I have my reading glasses underneath these shields. See that? These are to protect your eyes because we will be using lye. Lye is an alkaline, and it's extremely caustic It burns like you know what. And so if anything accidentally splashed, my eyes are protected. I also have this this mask if I need it, because when you start mixing it, some of the fumes go, you know, start to happen. Okay, so let me show you the recipe. Yeah. So I wrote down the recipe on this card. Okay, so I'm following this recipe. Okay. Okay, let me show you what the ingredients look like. Okay, so that's the recipe. This I just titled it Shea Butter Liquid Soap, today's date. So that's what I will show you. And I use distilled water. Distilled water is pure water, H2O. I use distilled water versus tap water or even mineral water because those other components to the tap water or the mineral water may react in the soap making. Yes, hello, viewer. Hello. Yes, I am going to make this liquid soap. Okay. This is what potassium hydroxide looks like. It's little flakes. Okay. And this is the distilled water. And so what you do, oh, also what I'm wearing gloves. These are, what do you call it? This is nitrile gloves. Again, I'm using potassium hydroxide, which is extremely caustic. And so I have to wear my gear, and I am wearing long sleeves. Okay, so it's to prevent from splashing. I'm wearing pants to cover my leg. Yeah, how you doing, Camp? Yeah, I'm just about to make soap. So I'm wearing long pants and shoes because if anything splashes on you, you know, your skin is protected. But let's say by chance something splashes on me, okay? You use white vinegar. White vinegar because this white vinegar is an acid and potassium hydroxide is an alkaline, and so the two neutralize. An alkaline and a acid creates water and salt, and so that water and salt is non-corrosive. So they balance out each other, okay, and it stops the burning, okay. So I have that in case any splashes on my skin. I have towels to wipe up any spills, okay. And then this is alcohol. When you're cooking the soap batter, it starts to create like little like a crystals, and so this inhibits this alcohol inhibits. Okay, you can't really see it, but it's alcohol, and I think it's 90% alcohol, isopropyl alcohol. Okay. So yeah, so these two are the ingredients here, and then I'm going to show you this here. This is a slow cooker, and these are the oils. Okay, this is the shea butter with a little bit of the castor oil, 2 ounces of castor oil and 37% the shea butter, and it's melted, and it's on high. Okay, so now that it's all melted and uniform, you know, you stir it a little bit just to make sure the two components, the two different oils are uniform. Okay. Okay, I put paper down to prevent any spills, and this is a electric hand mixer. Okay, and you only use your kitchen equipment that is just for soap making. You don't use this and to prepare food because it would be very caustic and you know, very dangerous to mix soap making equipment with your regular food preparation, food prep equipment. Okay, so this hand blender is strictly used for my soap making, and it has high and low speeds, and I'll be using the low speed. And so what I'll be doing next, and I have this here just for it to stand on. Okay, so what I'll be, oh, and this is a wooden spoon because you have to do a lot of stirring. Okay, it's a plain wooden spoon. And wooden spoon, you know, it's non-reactive to the soap making process. Okay, so so as you see, it's all melted nicely. And so what I'm going to do now with this, okay, see, this is the tricky part. You know, you have to really be careful. I have a metal spoon for this, and we'll be using the metal spoon because it can handle heat. One time I had used a plastic spoon, and it melted the spoon because the heat that is created. But it's not as much heat like this is potassium hydroxide, but if you use sodium hydroxide, which is used for making bar soaps, um, it creates more heat. Okay, so I'm going to pour this potassium hydroxide into the water and try not splash it. And the reason why you put the potassium hydroxide flakes into the water rather than the reverse, pouring the water into the potassium hydroxide, is because that when you pour in the flakes into the water splashes on you versus the reverse. If you're pouring water into this, these flakes may splash on you. So it's just to limit possibility of the least damage. Okay, so I'm going to slowly pour this in. So again, I have my latex glove and I'm fully covered. Okay, and have my goggles on. Okay, so I'm going to slowly pour this the flakes into the water. And I haven't used these flakes in a while, so it's going to be reactive. Okay. Okay, I'm going to put my mask on. Yeah, there's fumes. Let's put my mask on. Okay. Yeah, because it does start to get this. So you slowly stir it. This part is the most dangerous part. Hear the noise? So he's creating heat. Okay, you just do it slowly. Yeah, this is the most corrosive part. Potassium hydroxide. So you have to be very, very careful. Make sure all your pets, little children, are not in the room. Okay. Take a look. Looks like it's all melted. Yeah, I just hope that this sodium, when it skim off that foam. Yeah, see, also these ingredients are a little isn't as fresh as it could be. Again, I got these ingredients in 2014, so the potency may not be as I really wanted. Okay. Just trying to get out the foam. Sometimes if the, what do you call it? If there's any residue of any oils in there, it might float to the top. That's what this foam could be. So with soap making, you have to, everything has to be really, really clean. Can you try to be as careful as possible? No splashing on you. Make sure you're completely covered. Your arms are covered. You're wearing gloves. You have your protective eye gear. Okay. Okay. So I got most of it out. Let me get a little bit more out. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Now that it's all dissolved, I'm going to pour very carefully this sodium, potassium, and water, distilled water mixture into the melted fat. Okay, and you're going to see a react. It's going to get like a pale color. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay. What happened there is it was very hot. Okay. What happened there, it was very hot, the oil. And so it started, I didn't expect it to do it that fast. Okay. That's what happened there. It usually starts to do it later, but see, I had the oil cooking for a while. So that's what happened. So I have to pour the rest of the lye. I'm going to turn it on low. Okay. I didn't expect that to happen that quickly. Usually allows you to put it in so that the fat is very hot. That's what's happening there. Let me see else. Okay. So it's very hot. You saw that? Yeah, so it's very hot right now. That's what's happening. It's very hot. So I turned it down on low. Yeah, so you can't really play around with soap making, okay? I'm just scraping the sides. Yeah, I didn't expect that to happen. Yeah, so it's very hot. And yeah, I'm glad I have the paper down. See that? Yeah, this is very hot. Very, very hot. Yeah, in fact, I'm going to turn off the heat. So I've put it on off, just for it to kind of really chill out. So all this stuff is corrosive. Okay. Yeah, so none of this should get on the floor. I have my little pets and everything and scraping the sides. And so the heat, what the heat does, the heat with the oil, water, potassium hydroxide goes through a process called saponification. And it's changing the structure of the components. And it's changing it into soap. Okay? And when it cooks, um, it becomes less caustic, less alkaline. Okay, soap changes the molecular, the components of it. So right now, this alkalinity is extremely high, and when you cook it, it gets neutralized. Okay. It gets neutralized, and it's less caustic. Now, if I was to make bar soap uses a different type of lye. It uses sodium hydroxide versus potassium hydroxide to make the liquid. And that process is called the cold process soap because it doesn't require heat. But even though the process is quick, it doesn't require cooking, without that heat, the soap, for it to neutralize, so it's not as alkaline, it gets lower, the alkalinity. It takes a while for it to lower the pH. So it's really something. Energy in the form of heat makes the process of it getting more decrease in the pH quicker. But again, you have problems like this when it bubbles over and things, you know. So let me try to put in the rest. I'm hoping that it'll do it. Oh, there you go. See that? Yeah, this oil is very hot. Very, very hot. Yeah, I want to get it in there, more in there. And again, try not splashing it. Look at that. Yeah, and it's really something. Sometimes in the process of making the soap, you can have, I've had used things really, really big, and it still went up and reached the top. And I think part of the problem is that it's really hot, the oil. Can't stand when it does that. That is really. So what happens next? Well, it's going to take me a while to put all of this water and potassium in there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to wait for it to cool and add the remainder of this. And once all of it goes in there, then I use this. It blends the soap, and then it becomes like a thick paste. So I'm going to show you that in part 2. Okay, so this is initially the first part in soap making. And yes, make sure, see this, all this is very corrosive if it goes on your skin. Okay, and if it goes on your skin, you use vinegar and spray it on you. Okay, so I thank you all. Let me turn around. Okay, so guys, I thank you all for watching, and this will be the end of this part 1, and I'm going to show you part 2 later on. Yeah, so it takes at least 3 hours to cook this. So, but basic, this is what soap making is, and once it's cooked, then you add water to dilute it a little bit, like 50-50, and voila, you got your soap. And you test it with this pH reader to make sure that the pH is safe to use, that it's neutralized, okay? So that's the end of part 1, and I apologize for it to boil over so much. Yes. So take care and enjoy the rest of your day, okay? Bye-bye.